Today, we're talking about one of my most favorite, simplest, cheapest, and most effective hacks for controlling a blood sugar spike. It's apple cider vinegar. And while no, it's not a magic potion, when used the right way and avoiding the sugary imposters, it can make a real difference in your glucose curve and your energy. So before you take that first bite of anything carby or sweet, there's something you can drink in 30 seconds that can cut your glucose spike by up to 30%, and it's not a medication. Hey, it's Stephanie, and welcome back to another episode of the Glucose Diaries. Apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid, and that's the active component that slows down how quickly carbs break into glucose and hit your bloodstream. So think of it like putting a coffee filter over your carbs. The sugar still gets through, but much slower, which means a gentler curve instead of blood sugar spikes and crashes. So there's various forms of apple cider vinegar, and we're going to talk about those and how to use them. So the first one is my most favorite, and it's also the most researched, and it's going to be the liquid form. And I like the Bragg's version. You can use whatever you like, but I'm going to give you some tips on how to look for different components when you're looking for the type of liquid that you want. All right. So the standard dose is going to be 1 to 2 tablespoons in a big glass of water. So like 8 to 12 ounces of filtered water. You're going to take it 15 to 30 minutes before your highest carb meal. What I do is when I wake up, I have a whole glass of this and just proactively every single day. And then if I know I'm going to have a meal later on or I'm going to have dessert that might be higher carb, I just drink it again because I like the taste of it. So you're going to take it about 15 to 30 minutes before your highest carb meal, or just take it proactively every morning. It's going to be the most cost effective way that we're going to talk about. And make sure that it's raw and unfiltered with something called the mother. And that's what this brand has in it as well. It's the mother. What is the mother, you may ask? The mother in apple cider vinegar is the stringy, cloudy substance that you sometimes see floating in the bottle or settling at the very bottom, which is why I always shake it up before I pour it. And what that's made up of is beneficial bacteria, enzymes, and proteins that form naturally during the fermentation process. And that's what gives raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar its murky appearance versus the clear look of filtered vinegar. The second option that you have, and I don't have a bag of it because I used it already and then I gave the rest to my parents, but just go onto Amazon and you can order under bulk supplements. But it's going to be apple cider vinegar powder. You're going to want to check the label. Most of the good ones have 500 milligrams of acetic acid per quarter teaspoon. So that's 3 quarter teaspoons to match the amount of acetic acid you'd get in about 2 tablespoons of the liquid. It's 3/4 of a teaspoon. I just round up to a full teaspoon and throw that in 8 to 12 ounces of filtered water. That's great if you want to dissolve it in a smoothie or if you want to just do it in water. If you have someone like my husband that absolutely cannot stand the smell of vinegar and will not drink the liquid, the powder, oddly enough, it smells a little bit like vinegar, but it doesn't taste like vinegar at all. So you can put it in a smoothie or just a glass of water before you eat a carby meal or dessert, and you're good to go. The third option, and I have an example, it's going to be capsules. And this or the powder is going to be great for travel because I don't know about you, I've tried traveling with apple cider vinegar, the liquid, and yeah, when it gets all over your suitcase, it's not a good thing. So I travel now with the capsules or the powder. And basically, these are great for travel again, or if you can't handle the taste or smell of vinegar, look for capsules that list acetic acid content, not just apple cider vinegar powder. And the standard dose is enough capsules to equal about 1,500 to 1,800 milligrams of acetic acid. That's going to be 3 of these capsules. So the timing is best 15 to 30 minutes before a carb heavy meal. But if you forget and then you sit down to your meal and you're like, shoot, I forgot to get my apple cider vinegar, go grab it. Just take it before you eat your first bites of carbs or sweets, and you're better off than not. You can also take this before dessert if you skipped it with the main meal, or if you're like me and a lot of your main meals are very, very low in carb, then I just eat my meal and then I'll go ahead. If I know we're going to have dessert, I'll pop a couple of these or grab my drink and have that before my dessert. So a party or holiday tip is if you're heading into a big meal or party, apple cider vinegar before your highest carb meal can make a noticeable difference in how you feel afterwards. You're going to have less of a crash. You're going to have more stable energy. All you have to do is bring the powder or the liquid or the capsules with you. And if it's the liquid or the powder, just drop it in your water that you order from your server, stir it up, and just have that as a pre-dinner cocktail drink. I actually love the taste of apple cider vinegar, so it doesn't bother me at all. I do a little bit of cinnamon and a little lemon in mine. So there's a couple of things to avoid because this is apple cider vinegar is kind of a buzzword and you're going to see it on a lot of different products. So how do you know what to avoid? The first thing I would avoid are the gummies because most of the gummies are going to have less than 500 milligrams of acetic acid per serving. And unfortunately, a lot of times they're loaded with sugar and other additives and flavorings and colorings and that kind of thing. So I would just avoid the gummies altogether. The other thing you'll want to avoid are pre-made apple cider vinegar wellness drinks. Honestly, I think Bragg's even makes some of those. I just stick with the actual vinegar. That way I'm adding in my little 2 tablespoons with my own water versus having something that's mixed up with other maybe flavorings or sugars or that kind of thing. So any of the wellness drinks and shots are often flavored with syrups, fruit juices, or cane sugar, which is canceling out the benefit that we're trying to accomplish here. You want to also avoid any fake apple cider vinegar blends with coloring and flavoring, but little to no real acetic acid. If you're buying apple cider vinegar for blood sugar, we want to skip the gummies and stick to the forms that actually deliver the dose. So while apple cider vinegar isn't a magic bullet, it's one of the easiest and cheapest hacks you can add to your day to day to help your body process carbs more gently. The liquid, the powder, or the capsules, just aim for that 1500 to 1800 milligrams of acetic acid sweet spot and avoid the sugar loaded imposters. Here's to gentler blood sugar curves, more energy, and fewer post meal crashes. That's it for today's episode. And go get your apple cider vinegar. Let me know which one you like best, and I'll see you in the next one.